car looks legit brand new now. The sun is going down, but it's perfect time to get started on the detail here for Project VERT. We're going to be completely transforming this car in this episode, getting it completely detailed, getting it just looking perfect, or as good as I can get it to look, at least. We're going to be washing this car up tonight. We're going to be clay barring the whole thing, decontaminating the paint, and then hitting it with some polish, and then giving it a little bit of a coating. And I'm going to just kind of show you guys, take you guys along as always, but also kind of show you guys the stuff I'm using, because I know a lot of you guys have been asking me if I was going to do any detailing videos in the future, and I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to do so. Part of my crazy hair, I'm actually going to be using this light to do part of the detailing here since it's nighttime. But first thing we're going to do is get the car washed up and get like the major dirt off of it. For that, I'm going to be using just some normal Armor All car wash, nothing too crazy. It doesn't have wax in it or anything. It's just normal car wash. That'll help get the paint nice and clean. Going to be using an old foam can that I have as well, and my little 2000 PSI electric pressure washer that I have here from Harbor Freight. Over here, I got my bucket and I got my wash mitts and stuff. And I'm going to be using quite a bit of this to hopefully kind of get a little bit of extra contamination off the paint to make the whole decontamination process a little bit easier. This is just some mother stuff. It's Speed Bug and Tar Remover. It's like aerosol version that just kind of sprays on and foams up. It's worked the best for me. I haven't really tried too many bug and tar removers in the past, so I don't know, maybe there's stuff that works way better. Something I've been wanting to try is like a traffic film remover at some point in the future. But I'm going to be using this here on the front end especially, and along the sides if I see any little bits of tar. I'm also going to use a dab of this stuff on the wheels because there's like some weird buildup on them. I'll show you guys when we get to them, but just going to kind of shoot a light coating of this on the bumpers and everything everywhere and get some of the bugs off. Spray the headlights real quick too, although they don't matter too much because we're probably going to wet sand them. That's going to be the first thing we clean up before we move on to the polishing and the decontamination. As you guys know, the headlights on this car are pretty bad, so I'm going to be really happy to finally get them cleaned up because they really just make this whole car look like crap. But there we go. She's all coated down in the front. Just going to check and make sure there's like no little bits of tar here along the bottom. You can see here there's a few little spots I'm going to coat down with some of this. Oh yeah, this was the bad wheel right here. You can see it's got buildup. It's almost like someone hit a lot of tar or something. It's really built up and really bad, so I'm just gonna kind of give this wheel a light coating inside there. Just hopefully maybe we can loosen that up when we start rinsing it, but it looks like that's gonna do it. Let's go ahead and get this car washed up real quick. Oh guys, there's a big spider. All right, boys, she's completely cleaned off and looking good. As you can tell by the way the water's running off it, which it's not running off it, basically has no coating on it, and I need to towel dry this whole thing. Bug, get out of here. I need to towel dry this whole car now and get it ready. We're gonna start on the headlights tonight, getting them polished up hopefully, and then tomorrow we're actually going to polish the whole car and get it completely done. But I cleaned the top just like I cleaned the rest of the car. I know some people were actually wondering about that, but I just wash it like I do the rest of the car, and I'm gonna try to dry it like I do the rest of the car. I'm gonna leave it till last and just kind of pat the towel around and wipe it around and try to soak up a little bit, but it kind of has to dry itself out just because it's the netting. It captures a little bit of water, as you can hopefully see there, but I'm also gonna be hopefully shooting our sealant on the roof as well, and I'm just kind of curious to see what it does to the top. I'm gonna kind of test it out, and you guys can see what it does to it as well. If it works or if it doesn't, we'll find out.
It's a big bass blow.
right, we got a good start on our headlights here. Got them polished up. Probably gonna hit them with some other stuff and maybe clean them up a little more. This one especially still has some cloudiness going on, but they're already better than they were, that's for sure. So now that we started with that, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape off. I kind of wanted to start it with that as a little bit of practice and kind of get back in the groove of buffing. And we're gonna go ahead and take the tape off and go ahead and clay bar this whole car. I'm actually going to be using synthetic clay. This is the Griot's Garage synthetic clay, quote unquote, stuff that I'm gonna be using to clay bar the whole car. Normally, I talk down a little bit on the synthetic clay stuff, and I was a big fan of using just a conventional clay bar because I felt like a conventional clay bar kind of picked up debris and captured it more than something like this would more or less drag it across the paint. But if you notice, these are designed so that they have like dimples, and what that does is kind of helps capture it and not just completely drag it across the paint. There's no reason why this shouldn't work just as well, if not better. It's made of a very special material. When you feel it with your fingers, you can feel it. It almost has like a stickiness to it. It's a really weird synthetic stuff that actually works super well, and we're gonna be doing it on this car as well, especially since we're gonna be polishing it. Not really too worried. This should be a good test because if you guys can hear that, there's a lot of stuff in this paint that's gonna be coming out with our clay. So hopefully this works well. Alright guys, it's finally polish time. Everything is completely clay barred. I filmed it a little, but I went over the whole car, spent a ton of time just completely decontaminating this paint, and it honestly looks so much better already, just getting every single little bit of contamination out. Paint feels amazing now. For some of our worst scratches, I'm going to actually use some turtle wax, like scratch remover kind of stuff. Hit it briefly with that first, and then I'm gonna do the whole car with our clean finish polishing compound. It's not a very cutting polish, but it will clean most of the smaller blemishes out. There may still be some swirl marks left in the paint and some smaller stuff, but for the most part, this thing is gonna look like a mirror. Here's my other stuff that I'm gonna use. It's this turtle wax scratch repair and renew. It kind of renews the clear coat and kind of seals any scratches in the clear coat. It does a much better job than some polishes will. So rather than kind of buff it down completely, it will just kind of help renew it and get the scratched areas, like the bad scratched areas like that, looking a little bit better. So without further ado, let's get this job done. Alright boys, it is now another brand new day. Pardon the sound of the lawnmower out back, but this is the final day that we're going to be working on this car. I've been spreading this out now over the past many days just because of all the other stuff that's been keeping me busy and because of, you know, well, it gets dark out way earlier now, which really sucks. But we got everything taken care of. Gave the car one last once over to make sure there's no like haze from the polish on the car or anything like that. Looking perfect. The paint already looks just so much better. So the next thing we're gonna do is use the coating that I've been talking about. And I think a lot of you guys are gonna be excited to see this. I've got a lot of questions actually about this since it came out. And you guys know me, I like a lot of turtle wax products. That's all we've been using pretty much this whole project. I accidentally tripped on a can of something. I love turtle wax products. They're personally my favorite for doing other stuff other than, you know, faded things and stuff like that. The coatings, I use Flitz for all of that stuff. Flitz is polish and Flitz is sealant. I always use on the paint. That stuff is amazing for how easy it is to apply. It by far does the best job of sealing the paint. But I want to give Turtle Wax's new hybrid ceramic wax a shot because it's so easy to apply while you dry the car. I kind of wanted to see how it works just as the only coating on the car. I might eventually coat this thing with Flitz's stuff, but for now I wanted to give this a shot on top of our freshly polished paint. But as you guys can see, paint looks so much better. If you look real close, like there's some deeper swirls and things like that, some deeper marks that I was not able to get out with the polish we used. I was using a simple little handheld palm buffer that was like Walmart quality. It's not the best, but you know, I kind of did this on a budget, I guess. It really just brought out a really deep gloss. It didn't take every single flaw out of the paint, but I wasn't exactly aiming for that either, so I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. So without further ado, guys, let's pull this thing outside and let's get the coating on. But this coating requires the car to be wet, so that's what we got to do first.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Guys, I want to film the end of this video really bad, but I literally cannot catch a break in the wind. And I know my microphone's gonna sound terrible. I'm still waiting on some sort of something to help eliminate wind noise on this camera. So I'm gonna film the outro right here in the house. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. The car looks legit brand new now. Like, I can't even express to you how good it turned out. The water beat it off the paint right away. The coating turned out amazing. It just looks so good. I hope that the glamour shots portrayed that because it's so good. There's some smaller, deeper scratches, some deeper swirl marks still kind of in the paint, but it's hardly noticeable. I could have hit it with a slightly more aggressive compound, and especially if I had like a dual action polisher that was really meant for this kind of stuff, it would have worked so much better. But you know, my little hand buffer, my little palm buffer, whatever you want to call it, actually worked pretty good too. And I'm more than happy with the results. But a detailing video like this has been a long time coming, and this one actually turned out pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed the little edit here toward the end of the video. And as of right now, that car is actually for sale. I do want to sell it as soon as possible, especially because it's the end of the season. I want to move on to our next kind of flip project. I do have a couple more videos coming on it though, at least one or two more coming on the car, so be sure to stay tuned. They're gonna be good ones. But if any of you are interested, there's a business email down below you can contact me at. We could talk further. But either way, Project Vert is going to be saying goodbye to us probably soon. But it's been a fun run. It's given me a few gray hairs, but it's been a fun run. Press the thumbs up button again if you did enjoy. Comment on below if you have any questions or just anything you want to say. Had a lot of fun making this video, even though it was probably one of the hardest videos to make that I've put together in a long time. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. You rock. God bless you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.